This research is inspired by my personal experience. I come from Taiwan and have been living in France for the past 4 years. I developed some questions about my own identity. My past experiences and the ideology that I received created a big gap in the cognition that I have now. So I'm interested to know whether all East Asian students have the same question as I do. In this research, I studied through the point of view of students from East Asia who are currently in Europe. I focused on the participants from Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. Engaging Skype interviews, also conducted online survey. I specifically focused on Instagram as the center of this study because it's relatively a popular social media. As a frequent user of Instagram, I discovered some of the content towards identity is quite misunderstood. Also, the lacking of authentic information about my own culture. Most of the content that is linked to East Asia is about food and travel. These pieces of information are not realistic, and it gives people a faint idea of the region. In my understanding, culture is the characteristic and knowledge of a particular group of people, language, religion, social habits, music, etc. It should be something that can reflect the civilization and the situation of the place. One thing for sure is that a culture can change. It appears to have become crucial in our interconnected world, which is made up of so many ethnically diverse societies, but it can also create conflicts linked with religion, ethnicity, and beliefs. But culture is no longer specified. It is constantly changing. This makes it difficult to define any culture in only one way. I referenced the theory of the Jamaican British sociologist Stuart Hall. In his studies, which is similar to a lot of the point that I wish to establish in my own examination, are about culture and media. According to Hall, people living in diaspora are constantly reinventing themselves and their identities by mixing, hybridizing influences from all around the world in their everyday lives and cultural practices. Therefore, there is no one-size-fits-all cultural identity for people in the diaspora, but rather an abundance of different cultural identities that share both important similarities and differences, all of which should be respected. Hall's second definition of cultural identity is, it points out that what we call identity is an ongoing process of becoming as well as of being. Based on his concept, we can see that identity doesn't just come from our original background, but it also has many additional factors from our experiences. I believe social media carries a great amount of influence in our everyday life. It's a very important platform and it affects us deeply. The news that we receive changes the way we look at things, and it shaped our character increasingly. It starts with the long history that the East Asian region shared. We were all influenced in a big way by the ancient Chinese culture and the Confucianism. The influence still exists today. Japan, Korea, and Taiwan are all in the circle of the East Asian cultural sphere. We have similar appearances, our language sound identical, and we all come from the collectivist cultural background. I interviewed 8 East Asians who live in Europe. All of them have similar feelings towards Instagram, is that it's a tool of showing each individual. People can find ideas on the medium. It does not determine who we are, but more as a minor platform of helping us discover our identity. During the Skype interview, some of the subjects stated that they have changed quite significantly after coming to Europe. Some people say they don't. Most of them think that Instagram is a platform to connect with family and friends. It's the direct visual communication that attracts them on using the application, because it's the easiest way. Through my Instagram observation, which I followed more than 50 subjects, there weren't many content that are about their culture. Only 20 out of 52 people have shared some content about it. Between them, the South Koreans and the Japanese are more engaged in this matter, but the Taiwanese are less enthusiastic. We may not be able to declare a certain way of establishing a self-identification through Instagram, but there's a way it could be changed. I think it's the way to combine all the platforms and create a transmedia narrative. It's accessible to all the devices, and people have more opportunities to discover the content about culture and identity. But these contents are supposedly the real image of a culture, one that can reflect the real civilization. Through the images or videos that we see on transmedia platforms, it can be a way to inspire users. Visual communication platforms like Instagram can easily connect with people. What I'm trying to establish is that through this method, we can create content about the East Asian civilization and share it with users. It can be an article, film, or an artwork. It's a platform for exchange experiences and conversations. It can help East Asians to be more certain about who we are, also gives new concept to other ethnic groups about our culture. As for the people in the diaspora, by mixing the traditional and the new customs, there is a new culture that can be found. This could give us a new perspective of the changing in a civilization. It's something that can be useful in the establishment of one's identity. As I'm doing this research, I discovered the work of the Singaporean artist Lee Wen, The Journey of a Yellow Man, which is about cultural identity. A lot of the conception of his performance enlightened me. I found the images of his work are unexpected, and it generates the most essential question. That is, how do Asians identify ourselves? These images echo with the important topic of who we are and why we are here. So I put him in the VR device to strengthen my stand for discovering East Asian cultural identity. I captured the Instagram post of my subject. It gives an idea of transmedia storytelling, which user can walk through the space full of Instagram screens and make direct visual communication with each individual. With the text and the hashtag that they use, the self-identification shifts at the same time. This can create a communicational experience between the user and all the East Asian subjects. It supposes to help the user to discover the new concept about East Asia by these transmedia narratives. Adding the performance art of Lee Wen, the aspect of cultural identity could be better explained as the user sees his performance. As he once said, visual art representations are an important component of symbolizing and continuing a society's communal bonds. I created the visual device to make a more direct circulation for the users and the individuality of the East Asian participants. It helps us reflect the issue of identity and personality. Also achieve communication between people. Finally, Instagram is more of a tool for showing one's personality. It depends if the person wishes to acknowledge their culture or not. Then, it could be a medium for showing one's cultural identity. It's hard to define the issue of identity. In fact, it's changing constantly, so it's not easy to be determined. The conclusion of this research is still going, because we are still living and there's more to come. Our experiences always brings us new concepts and make us reflect about our identity. But undoubtedly, Instagram, also with all the social media, can play a big part in the discovery of one's identity. Also helps us recognize a culture